Hello everybody and welcome back to more political chatter. In this video we will be talking about the state of Michigan in particular and how it could destroy Joe Biden's re-election chances. Of course, Michigan is known as being the most Arab American state. Its percentage of Arab Americans, even though it's not a whole lot, obviously, as it isn't anywhere, it is the highest of any state for whatever reason. I am not good enough with demographics to tell you that and stuff. But of course, there's the pretty famous, well-known city of Dearborn, Michigan, and they have 40,000 Arab Americans, and with um, their disapproval of Joe Biden, of President Joe Biden, they could really destroy his reelection chances. Just a small group of individuals in one single state. So obviously, Biden has been very prominent with aligning himself with the country of Israel. Of course, during this Israel and Hamas war, most people, not vast majority, but definitely a majority from every single poll of Americans believe that there needs to be a ceasefire in Gaza immediately. Of course, Israel has been launching rockets. Of course, everything. I'm sure you guys all know about this on Gaza. On Palestine, on Hamas for their initial attack on Israel, and even though there was very strong pro-Israel sentiment right after the attack, that has very quickly decimated with Israel, launching countless attacks with rockets on just the small strip of land, Gaza. And not just Muslim Americans think that there needs to be a ceasefire. A lot of people do, particularly young people too. And I've made a whole video about how young people were a key coalition in 2020 for his election, and they are probably not with him in 2024. But even more dramatic, how the group that has been turned off um, from Biden because of his actions, with supporting Israel in their war against Hamas, more dramatically, is Arab Americans, obviously. Of course, this is taking place in the Middle East. We have, Israel, a Jewish state, compared to Palestine and literally every country surrounding there, which is an Islamic state. And of course, all of these Arab Americans, all of which are Muslim, are going to be extremely angered by Biden for his actions against, the Arabs in Gaza. So they have been turned off extremely by Joe Biden and his actions. And not only that, this isn't a quiet thing. There's an organized "Abandon Biden" campaign in Michigan among Arab Americans to quite literally abandon Biden at the polls come election day. Now, that doesn't mean voting for Donald Trump. I don't think that many of them will vote for Donald Trump. Maybe some will, just in spite of Joe Biden, just to make Biden mad. But the vast majority, I think, will either stay home or vote for like a progressive like Cornel West or Jill Stein, someone who's calling for a ceasefire immediately, at least. So this, of course, is going to be most prominent in the state of Michigan because they have the largest Arab American community in the country. There is one town called Dearborn, and there is another town that isn't exactly just Arab American, but Muslim American, and their entire city council is Muslim, along with their mayor. And then, of course, there's Dearborn, Michigan, where you have 40,000 Arab Americans living in this one city, just Dearborn. I don't know about the whole state, but just Dearborn. And it has been, these people have been extremely outspoken about their opposition to Biden in 2024. So these 40,000 could very easily sway Michigan's 15 electoral votes. If you go back to the 2016 election in Michigan, it was decided by 10,000 votes. Now, I know that not every one of those 40,000 people, Arab Americans in Dearborn, are voting. Obviously, a lot of them, I'm sure, are ineligible. Many are immigrant. Or wait, no, immigrants can vote. What am I saying? Um, if you stay here long enough, but but many of them are, children who obviously can't vote or just choose not to vote. So I'm not saying that all of those 40,000 are voters, but it's more than 10,000, more than 25%, I'm sure, of Dearborn, Michigan is voting. So if they all voted for Biden in 2020, but now don't in 2024, it really would change the outcome of the election. I know there's so many other variables, other things that could happen. Young voters are abandoning Biden. But then you have Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's polling blue collar workers in Rust Belt states like Michigan from Trump. So there's a lot of things, um, but this definitely hurts Biden when you look at the incredible margin of just about 11,000 votes, less than 11,000 votes, more like 10,000 in Michigan in 2016. Um, and you look at the extremely high Arab American population in the state of Michigan. It is one of the few states where it's over 1%. And that 1%, when, Michigan in 2016 was decided by 0.3%, that more than 1% could definitely sway the outcome of these 15 electoral votes. And it is so, so critical. I mean, when you go back to, when you go back to, um, no, 2020. No, I don't want the Senate. Oh, it's because I'm on Senate. But when you go back to 2020, um, it was decided by 2.8%, but it was so, so critical to his or to his first election win. I mean, and when you're looking at 2024, he can't count on a lot of these states that he won in 2020, but Michigan was supposed to be one that he could before this Israel Hamas war. I mean, he was expected to win Michigan before this. It was supposed to be one that he could count on their very critical 15 electoral votes. It was 16, now it's 15 electoral votes in 2024, and put more resources in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Georgia, states that looked more likely to flip back to Donald Trump. But now he has to count on, or no, he is not. No, he is no longer counting on Michigan. This is one of his top priorities to win now. So it's a very interesting situation that Michigan now puts Biden in 2024. When you look at his re-election map, let's say he wins Nebraska second, let's say he wins the state of New Hampshire, and of course Minnesota, and I'm going to be bold, let's just assume he wins the state of Pennsylvania. I think he does. And then when you look at states that Trump is expected to win, Florida, North Carolina, two states that he won in 2020. I'm almost sure that Nevada will flip back to him. It's looking like Georgia is going to flip back. He just led by 8% in a poll. And then you're down to three critical states of Arizona, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Probably some of the three closest ones heading into 2024. I think that there will be, I mean, not even Wisconsin all that much, but I think that Trump really is favored in a state like Wisconsin. And to be completely honest, I think that he's favored in Arizona too, as well as Michigan. But when you have got, Michigan, a state that should have been under his belt, in 2020, in 2024, but it no longer is. You go from according to my prediction, you go from a 260 to 278 map as of right now, which is a map that Biden can still win, a map that Biden can improve on until Election Day and actually win this election. You go from that to a 245 to 293 election, a race that is so, so, so much harder to win, with limited time. Election Day is in November, early November, for Biden. But with Trump winning Michigan, I just want to stress enough how unlikely it makes Biden's chances in 2024 of winning. If Trump takes Michigan, Biden would have to count on Georgia. I mean, there's 16 electoral votes is a lot of electoral votes, and even that is extremely unlikely. But he would also have to count on the state of Pennsylvania if he's doing this, and even then, if Trump wins Michigan and Biden is able to carry two states that he won in 2020 and is probably not going to win in 2020, Pennsylvania and Georgia, you still have Biden at 261 and Trump at 277. Biden is, or Trump is still favored to win. Then Biden would have to somehow win a state like Arizona. I mean, I guess Arizona would be more likely than Georgia at this point. So, you look at Pennsylvania and Arizona, it's 256 to 282. Not even that close. Then Biden would have to win, Georgia or Wisconsin. But even if he wins Wisconsin, I mean, look at that. Even if he wins Wisconsin, he still loses without Michigan, which is astonishing. So the point is, even though that was kind of confusing, the point is Biden needs to work on his numbers. If it's possible, which it probably isn't. I mean, every interview that I've seen where, these Arab Americans, especially, in the abandoned Biden campaign, when they're asked about the 2024 election and everything, they're saying that they are not even considering Biden because that is their number one priority is a ceasefire in Gaza, and I mean, in that regard, they would view Biden as even worse than Trump because there was no war in Gaza in 2020 or during Trump's presidency. And Donald Trump never had to take on that issue. And he has never had to call for a ceasefire or not call for a ceasefire or whatever. So if it's I mean, a lot of them, so the point is a lot of them are not even considering Biden, so he has to make up ground in other places, but it is not looking good for him in 2024. I mean, everything is going wrong for Biden. He is unpopular. Arab Americans are now abandoning him in the critical swing state of Michigan. Young voters are completely abandoning him. African Americans are a lot of them are going to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. actually from Joe Biden. And his chances among those blue collar workers that he was able to win in 2020 is looking extremely bleak with his poor economy. He could say how good the economy is doing all he wants, but in the end, Americans aren't feeling it. So he's not doing good. He's unlikely to win, and this whole abandoned Biden thing, won't help him, that's for sure. It'll only hurt him because he might lose Michigan now. So thank you all for watching this video. Subscribe if you enjoyed. I'll see you all next time.